Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Today's question. Rakesh, I'm a fairly good presenter, but something is missing. I know I can do a better job, but I always make some mistakes and come back thinking that I can always do a better presentation. Can you give me 5 tips on how can I become a pro at presentation? I can do this in my sleep. This is what I teach all the time. And it's something that you can learn. If someone like me can present with confidence, anybody in the world can do it. And this is a skill that is worth investing in because we talk and present and articulate and convince, which are very critical for our careers, the impact that we make in our lives, and also in our social life. Communication plays a big chunk in our lives. The only activity we do after breathing, maximum in one day, is communication. So if you prepare and practice, it will only be good for you. So let's come to your question. What are the tips for a good presentation? So let's understand the word presentation because that's where the problem comes in. What I have seen is that most of us, presentation is like a PPT. तो भैया पीपीटी बनाओ और फिर छाप दो उसको and then slide 1, slide 5. This is not a presentation. I think presentation is defined as a speech with a visual aid. And the visual aid could be slides, it could be a PDF, it could be a prop, it could be a movie, it could be anything, it could be a demo. The problem is all of us see others do PPT, so we think PPT is presentation. The presentation is you, and you have to make a speech with a visual aid. So I'll explain this again with food because हमारे देश में खाना is such a great way to connect learning, especially communication. Every part of India has a concept called thali. A thali is one of the most beautiful concepts of life. It has lots of ingredients, but the person can choose to mix and match those ingredients to get a new flavor. I think that is the capacity of our Indian culture. The same thing happens in communication. The ingredients of a good presentation are fairly simple. Non-verbals, eye contact, smile, voice, good script, opening body, conclusion, storytelling, negotiation, persuasion, argument, logic. There are some finite 50 elements and maybe slides are one of them. So slides are one of the 50 ingredients of a thali, like achar. So if you dip your food in achar, चटकार आता है, मजा आता है, बट नहीं भी डालोगे तो खाना अच्छा ही होगा. I think that's what you need to remember on slides and presentation, that you have an opportunity to do lots of things, but if you focus only on the achar, I think you're missing the power given to you by this topic. So that is a big problem that I want you to know. Second is, remember presentations are about connecting with your audiences, but that doesn't mean you start talking to them. Kaise ho? Can you raise your hand and tell me something? All that is secondary. I think you have to make a presentation for your audience, food for an audience. You can't make food for yourself and expect people to like it. That's also a very important part. Third is time management. I know 5 मिनट का टाइम दिया है और 25 मिनट तक आप बकवास करोगे तो प्रेजेंटेशन तो खराब ही होगा. And these little things I feel we don't realize. So here are my 5 tips that I'd like to share with you to make a great presentation and you become a pro at presentation. So ready? Tip number 1. First, get your script right. Presentation is equal to a speech and a visual aid. The speech has a script. उसको लिखो. अगर 10 मिनट का आपके पास टाइम है तो the script should be around 1000 to 1200 words. 120 multiplied by the number of minutes. That's the formula. It's a guideline. It's science. Use it. अगर आपके पास 2 मिनट हैं, 240 वर्ड से ज़्यादा बोलने का ही नहीं. So that's a big problem. So please script it. Pen, paper, these things are very important in our lives. तो लिखो बैठ के. I'm okay if you type it on a laptop, fine. But likho. I think doodle, write it, get it right. If you get a good script, your audience problem is solved, your glossophobia fear is solved because you have your notes and it is structured. Your mind will get you a good structure और उसको अच्छे से लिखो. and it's not the first draft. 5-6 drafts बनाइए और बढ़िया सी script लिख दीजिए. So that is a critical tip I have. Once your script is ready, उसके ऊपर slides बनाइए, and the number of slides are no more than time divided by 2. तो if 10 मिनट का टाइम है, 5 slides maximum. और ऐसा नहीं कि स्लाइड्स पे लगे रहो. आई थिंक स्लाइड्स आर कॉम्प्लीमेंट, दे आर द अचार फॉर द चटकार ऑफ योर थाली, बट नॉट द मेन कोर्स ऑफ द थाली. ऑलराइट, सो गेट दैट राइट. इवन इफ नहीं होगा कोई बात नहीं, लगा देना बाद में. नाउ स्लाइड्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट टू शेयर विथ पीपल एंड इट्स अ डॉक्यूमेंट. तो आप ईमेल कर देना लंबा वाला स्लाइड, बट व्हेन यू प्रेजेंट, नो मोर देन time divided by 2 slides. So that is a very big tip, that please script, and once your script is ready, please make your slides. Let's go to tip number 2. Get your tech right. You know, हम लोग Zoom, laptop, projector, this microphone, the camera, the lighting, सब कुछ important है. बाहर का noise, get it right. When I look at a corporate professional starting a presentation and struggling with the devices and mute ka button, camera is all over the place and he's fumbling. I'm sorry, the tech is a problem. I'm sorry, the network is a problem. I mean, this is not a great presentation. Remember, you are the presentation. And if you're fumbling with the tech, Zoom, Google Meet, camera nahi chal raha hai, audio bahut kharab hai, your audience will switch off. So get your tech right. Go early, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, get everything ready, do a dry run. That is very, very critical tip that I use for all my presentations. Third, now that you have begun your presentation and you're about to start, the first minute get the context right. That is very critical. What is the context? हम लोग इस रूम में क्यों हैं? What is my role? मैं क्यों आया? What do I want to achieve? And if there is something that they should know about the presentation, some history, एक sentence में बोल दो. That last week there was a big crisis. I have been invited to talk about how do we solve this crisis, and that's the presentation I'm going to meet in the next 5 minutes. This is a context, so that the audience now gets it. कि अच्छा हाँ, now I'm clear, because audience कई तरह से आते हैं. Somebody's just entered the room and they're on their cell phone. Somebody's thinking about biryani. Somebody is in their own world. They're chatting with each other. So a context creates a common framework for people to understand कि क्या चल रहा है. So set the context in the first minute with an objective that this is what I want to achieve with all of you. Let's go to tip number 4. You know, a presentation is like a performance. Perform the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes given to you. This is the time. This is where you have to give your best, slow down, give your expressions, smile, be serious when the topic is serious, storytelling, lay down the examples and logic. This is your performance. Performance क्या होता है? आपको कुछ संगीत गाना होता है तो एक पोइट्री रिसाइट करनी होती है, गाना गाना होता है. This is the गाना. Get it right. And this is where you don't have to worry too much about कि audience से मैं बात करूँ, question पूछूँ. I think many students and many of my professionals and even managers and CXOs have this notion कि हमें audience को connect करना है. I disagree. When a performer is singing or playing, they are doing their act. That act will connect with audience. You don't have to go and ask कैसा लगा, question है क्या. That is secondary, वो बाद में. But you have to perform. So tip number 4, get your performance and get it right. Deliver it. Do what you have practiced it, give it your best shot, but finish karo usko. And the last, the tip number 5, summarize and close properly. That okay, you have set the context, given your performance, it's time to close within the time limit. So summarize what you have said, call to action, thank them, and you're done. These 5 tips are very critical for me because I use it all the time. So let me summarize these 5 tips all over again. Tip number 1, get your script right. You are the presentation. Slides will come out of your script, and slide is like the achar of the thali. Very important, but agar nahi bhi hoga, chalega. And it adds the chatkar to the thali's experience, right? Tip number 2, get your tech right. Tip number 3, set the context of the presentation in the first minute. Tip number 4, perform like a rock star, a actor, a leader on the time, And this is your moment. Take it, perform. And the last is towards the end, summarize, connect with the context, state your objective all over again. And these 5 tips will help you make a pro in presentations. Stay safe.